we're first going to start by making a magic ring. So a way to do the magic ring is to grab the yarn like this and secure it with your thumb, then wrap it around your fingers like this, back and over, forming an X. Now you're just going to grab that with your pinky, and now you have an X here and 2 loops here. And now we're going to flip it over, place our hook underneath the first loop, grab this one and pull it through. Now we're going to turn it clockwise like this, and you should have a little loop right here. Then you're going to go underneath our working yarn, and we're just going to pull through like this, and you're going to let go and pull this tight, and now you have your magic ring. Now we're going to make 6 single crochets in the magic ring. So to make a single crochet, we're going to grab the ring with our fingers and then insert into the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do this 6 times. 2, 3, and 6. Now after that, we're going to pull this to tighten, and now you finished your magic circle with 6 single crochets inside. To end the round, we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch that we made, so you can count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the 6th stitch we're going to insert a hook, yarn over, pull through. Now you should have 2 loops, and we're going to pull through the second one. And now you're going to chain 1, and we can start the next round. So for the next round, we're going to start by making 2 single crochets in the first stitch. So the first stitch should be the same one that we slip stitched into, which is this one. And we're going to go in and make 2 single crochets there. Now we're going to repeat this into the next 5 stitches until we get back to the beginning of the round. After you've repeated and increased 6 times throughout, we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch. So this stitch is the slip stitch that we made, and we're going to skip that. And the next stitch right here is actually a chain. So we're going to skip these 2, and we're going to work into the next single crochet. And that's the first single crochet of the round. So we're just going to make a slip stitch there and then chain 1. Now for the next round, round 3, we're going to do single crochet all the way around, and we're going to repeat that 12 times, so we will end up with 12 stitches. Now we're going to make a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So again, we're going to skip this slip stitch and the chain, and we're going to go into the single crochet that we made to do a slip stitch. Now we're going to fasten off. And we're going to pull through. Now you should have something that looks like this. We're going to make a second one, except we're not going to fasten off. Now that you have these 2 pieces, we're going to connect them, and we're going to do that by single crocheting onto the other piece. So find a random stitch, anyone works, and you're just going to insert it. And now we're going to do a regular single crochet, except that the yarn is still attached on here. So yarn over, pull through that stitch, and now you have two loops on your hook. So you just gotta treat it like a normal single crochet and yarn over, pull through 2. Now you've connected these, and this is the first stitch of a round. So you can grab a stitch marker or a piece of scrap yarn like I'm using, and we're just gonna pull it through. Now we're gonna make 12 single crochets on this side and 12 on this side. So in total, we're gonna have 24. So that's 1, 2, and 12. Now we're gonna go into the next, this next piece, and you're going to go into the next stitch, which is the one after the one that we connected it on, so this one. And we're going to do 12 single crochets on this piece until we get to the first stitch that we marked. Once you finish your 12 stitches, we're going to make a slip stitch in this stitch that we marked. So right here, this is the first stitch of the round, and we're just going to slip stitch there, and then you can make a chain 1. Now for the next round, we're going to start decreasing, and it's going to be a V shape to create our heart, and these two are going to be the top of our heart. For round 5, we're going to start by making 5 single crochets. So the first stitch is the one that we slip stitched in, and it might be a bit hard to see. So we're going to start with 4 single crochets, and that's going to get us to the edge of the heart. So now we're going to do 2 decreases, and we're going to do invisible decreases. We're going to go only into the front loop. This is both loops, but the only loop we want to work in is the one that's closest to us, so the one on the outside. And we're going to grab that loop and the front loop of the next stitch. Now we're going to treat this like a normal stitch, these 2 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through these 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. We're going to repeat that again for our second decrease. And after you've done these 2 decreases, we're going to go into the next stitch, and we're going to make a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet for the next 8 stitches. Now we're going to do 2 more decreases. To end the round, we're going to make 4 single crochets. Now we're going to make a slip stitch to the first stitch, the first single crochet that we made. For the next round, we are just going to single crochet all the way around. For the next round, after we've slip stitched and chain 1, we're going to start by making 3 single crochets. Then 2 decreases. Next, we're going to make 6 single crochets, 2 more decreases, and then 3 single crochets back to the beginning. Now let's do our slip stitch, and then chain 1. Now we're going to do our last decrease round. We're going to start with 2 single crochets, 2 decreases, four single crochets, two more decreases, and 2 single crochets to end the round. Now let's make our slip stitch and chain 1. We only have one more round left, so before we close this up, we're going to take a break from crocheting. You're going to grab your stuffing and we're going to stuff it. Now that our little heart is nice and stuffed, we are going to make our last round. For our last round, we're just going to put our hook back and we're going to do 6 decreases. So these are all invisible decreases. Once you finish the last stitch, let's do a slip stitch on the first stitch of the round, and now you're going to chain 1 and fasten off. Now grab your yarn needle and let's sew the hole up. So we have 6 stitches right here, And we're just going to grab the front loop of each stitch. Once you've got all 6 stitches, we're going to pull tight and the hole should close up. Now, we're going to find a random stitch, go through the sides, and find somewhere to put the yarn tail. I usually like to weave it around a few times, so just bring it to a couple of different places. And once it's nice and secure, you can grab your scissors again and we'll cut that tail. If they're still a little bit sticking out, you can just use your yarn needle to push it in. Now your little heart is finished. Thank you for watching this tutorial and I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for future tutorials. Bye!